Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanMuscle.com. Today I'm bringing you a detailed overview and installation of the NGK Laser Iridium spark plug, which is available for all 09 4.6s, 10 to 14 6.2s, 11 and 12 3.5s, and finally the 11 to 14 5.0 F-150. So in this video, of course, I'll be going over the benefits and application of the NGK spark plugs I have with me today. I'll be touching on the heat range, explaining what that actually means and how it applies to each setup and build. I'll top it off with the materials and construction, and then the installation, which I'll let you know up front, will get a pretty simple 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. The NGK Laser Iridium spark plugs will be for any 09 to 14 F-150 owner I just mentioned a second ago who might be looking for a replacement spark plug or an upgraded replacement spark plug for some worn out plugs that might have come from the factory. Now, after so long, it is definitely time to change those plugs to get a better conditioned engine just to get it up to running at full potential. Now, depending on your personal setup or if it's stock or slightly modified, you'll be wanting to look at the heat range provided on each plug. Each setup of your F-150's engine will require a different heat range, and I'll detail that in this video. For this particular spark plug, you're looking at a heat range of 6, which is very normal. So like I said, this will be sticking toward the guys with completely stock or very slightly modified F-150 engines. Now, the Laser Iridium spark plugs I have with me today from NGK are going to be a high performance replacement for your stock or slightly modified F-150 motor. What I mean by a high performance option is simply the fact that it will improve fuel efficiency slightly and also lower emissions. Now, when I say improve fuel efficiency, I don't mean it's going to make the world of difference when it comes to miles per gallon. It just simply makes the engine run more efficiently. Now, like I said in the very beginning, heat range when it comes to spark plugs is a very critical point to be looking at when searching for spark plugs for your personal build. Depending on how your motor is set up and what the build is, whether it's naturally aspirated, forced induction, no matter what the setup is, there is a heat range specific for that setup. Now, as I mentioned prior to this, it is going to be a 4 to 6 range for the stock or slightly modified motors, but you want to keep in mind each spark plug manufacturer uses their own number range scale, so you'll want to look that up when it comes to each manufacturer. NGK uses a scale ranging from 2 to 11, and as I said, somewhere around the 6 range is definitely going to be for those stock or slightly modified motors. So when it comes to forced induction, typically across the board you would go with a colder plug with a lower number for the heat range, obviously meaning it's a colder plug. Now, NGK typically does things backwards a little bit, so you'll be going from 2 to 11 with the range, 11 being the coldest, 2 being the hottest. So keep that in mind when you're going forward. NGK does use their system a little bit backwards as compared to some of the other brands out there on the market. Keep that in mind when you're shopping around. So this is again going to be specifically for the stock or slightly modified motors. I know I'm repeating that a couple times, but it's definitely crucial because if you get the wrong heat range for your motor, it definitely will not be running as you'd want it to be. As far as materials and construction is concerned, you're looking at an Iridium disc welded onto the center electrode, as well as the platinum disc, which reduces the amount of wear, giving it long-term durability. NGK uses laser welds to reduce the amount of debris, decreasing the amount of voltage to bridge the spark gap for a more efficient burn. To put everything I just said into context here, just to make it make a little bit more sense for you, since these are a high-performance spark plug, they will be using higher quality materials and a more efficient manufacturing process to make them more efficient plugs. Now, because of that, they are going to be a little bit more expensive than, say, the plugs you'd get at a Pep Boys or a local auto store, coming in right around the $40 mark. And because of that, like I said, it will lead to a more fuel-efficient engine as well as a lower emission rate. Now, this is something that will be picked up for a slightly modified engine. Again, cannot stress that enough. Heat range is one of the most important factors when it comes to spark plugs. The good thing is, no matter what heat range you're picking up, spark plugs are spark plugs, and the installation is almost always the same, with the exception of how much you torque each one down, which will be detailed in your manual or on the NGK site as well. Now, a spark plug gapping tool is recommended to have on hand. They're supposed to be gapped right out of the box, but you never know, so it's good to check to have that gapper tool on hand. Now, as far as the installation is concerned, as far as timing, about an hour's worth of time start to finish, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less, depending on how frequent you do these for yourself. And of course, it'll get a 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Just to wrap things up here, if you're the owner of a 2009 to 2014 F-150, you might be looking for a way to swap out some old plugs for some new spark plugs, a high performance option at that to get some more fuel efficiency as well as low emissions. Now, that's something you're looking for in the regular heat range for a stock or slightly modified engine. You might want to check out the NGK Laser Iridium plugs with the heat range of 6, which is available right here at AmericanMuscle.com.